Hello YouTube viewers and random Star Trek fans. Today, to honour the memory of the late Leonard Nimoy, I will be reviewing this, which is the Diamond Select Mr. Spock figure from the episode The Devil in the Dark, and here it is in its packaging. If you'd like to pick up this set, it is available now over on BigBadToyStore.com, the link to which is in the description below. The box is your standard Diamond Select layout. On the sidebar we get the Star Trek The Original Series logo with Mr. Spock written above it, while this triangular section near the bottom contains an image of the original NCC-1701 Enterprise. The window is large, giving you a good look at the figure and its accessories, although I wish they'd been swapped around, as it's difficult to get a good look at Spock himself, as he's partially covered by the sidebar. The side of the box offers this excellent image of Nimoy as Spock in a very exciting pose with his phaser raised and ready for action. On the back we get a bit of a write-up on the character, and as always, if you want to give this a read, pause the video. A large image also shows off some of the figure's interchangeable features, while a smaller image below gives us a good look at the other figure set in this range, Captain Kirk. But that's enough about the box, so let's move on to the figure. Okay, so here we have Mr. Spock himself. I've always been a fan of Diamond Select's figures, and this is a prime example of why the detail on here is just gorgeous. Taking a look at the face sculpt, it is undeniably Leonard Nimoy. The sculpt on the eyes, and particularly the iconic eyebrows, is so sharp and effective, as too is his facial expression, with a concerned frown on his forehead. The sculpting of the rest of the face is remarkable too, and you can even make out his light pink lips have been painted on there as well. The pointed ears are present and correct, as they should be. However, the paint apps are a little bit poor around the tops of his ears, as the paint apps for the hair don't really match up here. The hair itself is sculpted well, with some rough detailing of strands and brushstrokes, but it looks very good all the same. Moving down to the torso, Spock is of course sporting his standard blue Starfleet shirt. The detail here is outstanding, with the creased and wrinkled material effect adding to its overall look, but what's more is you can see the muscle structure of his torso poking out at various points around the shirt. So you have his pecs at the top with the creases underneath giving them some real definition, and his abdominal wall is also present below, with the relevant sculpting really helping to bring the detail out. Even on the back you can see this recess running up the middle of his back, where of course his spinal cord is, plus some slight detailing of shoulder blades can be seen there too. The black V-neck collar can also be seen at his neck, while his gold Starfleet badge contains a fair amount of detail considering its small size. His arms continue with that great creased effect, and you can even make out an excellent dark wash has been subtly applied in order to really give that detail some depth, and of course his standard gold rings are present on both cuffs. As for the hands, they both contain some very fine detailing of fingers and thumbs. One is sculpted in an open palm pose, while the other has been purposely positioned to hold his phaser. The legs also contain some of that great creased and wrinkled effect too, plus you can make out some detail of lining and pockets on there as well. For the most part they're just black though, so there's not really much detail to be discussed here. They seem to be tucked into the boots, which too feature that creased effect, but much like the trousers are just a basic black. Finally on the underside we get a peg hole on each sole, as well as a bit of legal frumbanga, so overall for detail it looks fantastic. Turning to articulation, the head can do the full 360-degree exorcist twist. The arms can spin through a full 360 at the shoulder, and move out to around 90 degrees. The arm can do a full 360 via this joint on the upper arm, while a 90-degree bend is present on the elbow, and another 360 is present at the wrist. Spock offers full 360-degree waist articulation. However, there is no articulation on the legs, meaning they are permanently sculpted into this pose. Finally, there's a full 360 at the top of both boots. So when it comes to articulation, it's good, but it is lacking in certain areas. However, seeing as this is a figure designed to be part of a diorama, the lack of posability can be excused, plus the fewer articulation joints on the figure allows more room for detail. Turning to accessories, the figure comes with a multitude of extras. Spock naturally carries some standard Starfleet equipment. First up we have his phaser number 2, which features some great detail for its small scale. This can be slotted into his right hand, which has been sculpted purposefully to hold it. We also get a tricorder in closed mode. It features a strap allowing it to be hung around Spock's shoulder. And we also get an open version of the tricorder, sporting some really nice detail of its workings on the inside, which again can be placed upon the figure via its strap, or actually held in his left hand to make it look like he's using it to detect silicone life forms. Let's move on to the base. Of course, this is based on the episode The Devil in the Dark, which was primarily set in underground caves and featured some excellent set design of cave walls. This has been recreated really well here with that blue cavern wall attached to the side of the base. The paint apps on here are excellent. As you can see, each ridge of the cave wall has been painted a lighter blue in order to give it this really great weathered and aged effect. The base itself contains a similar effect, only this time it's been painted brown. And on one side of the wall, you can see this hole effect has been sculpted to look as though the Horta creature has just burrowed through the the wall. But the biggest talking point of the set is obviously the Horta creature itself. Doesn't it look excellent? The rock-like detail on the silicone shell with that almost lava-like orange structure holding it all together. It's certainly a very unique looking creature indeed, and has been replicated so well here, especially with those almost minuscule tentacles sprouting out from underneath it. What's more is that the creature offers this excellent feature where a piece from its back section can be removed, revealing the soft, pale body of the creature beneath the shell, just like in the episode. I really love this attention to detail. A total of 4 pegs are present on the base, allowing you to attach Spock while standing. But if you wish to have Spock in a slightly alternate pose, some variant pieces are included in this set: a pair of alternate legs, hands, and a head. Switching the pieces around is very straightforward. They're all attached to Spock's body via some mushroom caps, so pulling them will cause them to detach. They're not too stiff, so removing each component doesn't take a lot of effort. Essentially what you're left with is an empty Starfleet shirt, onto which the new components can be added. Again, it's not too hard to do this, as they just pop into the same places as easily as their counterparts were removed, so eventually you wind up with a figure which looks like this. And as you can see, Spock is now in a kneeling position with his arms outstretched and his palms raised, allowing you to recreate one of the most memorable scenes of the episode, in which he must reach out and touch the Horta in order to communicate with it. Using the other 2 pegs on the base, the figure can be firmly and securely attached to it, making it look as though he's reaching down to make contact with the alien. I really love this alternate pose. It much better fits the base, plus that alternate head sculpt of Spock in anguish as he feels the Horta's pain contains some really great and effective detail. Doing a size comparison, Spock doesn't look too out of place when next to the other figure in this range, Captain Kirk. Of course, Kirk, much like Spock, has those permanently sculpted legs, which are crouched down much further than Spock's, meaning he is positioned slightly lower, but in the end, they both look to be in scale with each other. So, overall, what do I think of this figure? Well, I love it. Diamond Select are one of my all-time favourite figure producers, and this is ample proof of why I love them. Their attention to detail for a figure of this scale is frankly off the radar, with the face sculpt being a real dead ringer for Leonard Nimoy. The sculpting on the body, especially with that material effect, really adds a certain depth to its overall appearance, while the base not only provides some excellent support, it also ties the figure into the episode and recreates a pivotal scene from it perfectly. The added bonus of the swappable body parts is something I really appreciate, allowing fans to either put Spock up on display as part of the base, or as its own standalone figure. The phaser and tricorders also add another level of detail to the figure as well. I picked this figure up yesterday upon learning of the tragic death of Leonard Nimoy. It's been a figure that I've been toying with buying for a while now, but hearing of Mr. Nimoy's passing was what finally tipped me over the edge and made me get it. And I'm so glad that I did. Of all the various Spock figures which have been released over the years, I really feel that this one does the character justice. The detail is fascinating, and it shows the character of Spock doing what he does best, empathising and helping a scared and confused alien life form. And it's this act of compassion that truly immortalises Spock as a character for me, and it's only logical that it's worthy of being my tribute to the late, great Leonard Nimoy. Again, if you think so too, by all means head on over to BigBadToyStore.com and pick one up for yourself. They also provide an exciting range of other Star Trek memorabilia, so they're certainly worth a look. And so that does it for this review. I really hope you liked it, and if you did and you're new to my channel, please hit subscribe for more videos, and keep up to date with all my latest news and reviews by liking my Facebook page and following me on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.